Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Venom back with
another one.
I know it's been a while and I promised to get on an uploading schedule in the coming weeks, but I had to pause a project I was working on to get on that Apple keynote from September 12th. Now, there's a whole lot of information passed out in this keynote. Apple released the Apple Watch Series 3, the new 4K HDR capable Apple TV, the iOS 11 update, but the biggest news out of that event was the iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and iPhone X. Damn it, I mean iPhone 10 announcement. Apple, stay off that Mortal Kombat. Anyways, this iPhone 10 is the special 10th edition anniversary celebrating 10 years of iPhones. Now, it's to showcase the latest and greatest things that Apple can put on a phone today. So you can understand when I say I'm a bit disappointed in the launch and the pricing. So specs, the 8 and the 8 Plus and the 10 are all rocking the same network bands and gigabit LTE. The 8 is just a little bit thinner than the 8 Plus, which is still just a little thinner than the 10. The 8 and the 8 Plus are around the same size of their direct predecessors, that's the 7 and the 7 Plus, and the 10 lands somewhere in the middle, being a bit larger than the 8 but a bit smaller than the 8 Plus. The 8 and the 8 Plus still on that LCD tech, 4.7 inch and 5.5 inch respectively, while the 10 rocking an all-new Super AMOLED screen at 5.8 inches complete with HDR10 and Dolby Vision support. Now it also is rocking an 82% screen to body ratio. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the highest on a phone today. So the trend over the last year or so shows Apple stepping up the core count. First, from the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, there's 4 cores over the dual core system that was on the 6S and 6S Plus. Now they're moving to 6 cores with the brand new A11 Bionic chip. Apple promises this is going to be the fastest and smartest chip that was ever put into a smartphone. The 8 comes with 2 GB of RAM, while the 8 Plus and the 10 come with 3 GB of RAM, to drive that bigger screen. Now let's talk about the cameras on these babies. The iPhone 8 has a 12 megapixel f1.8 single lens, and this has phase detection, autofocus, and finally optical image stabilization on the smaller iPhone. Now meanwhile, both the 8 Plus and the 10 are using dual systems. Now this dual lens setup on both the 8 Plus and the 10 are pretty similar. They're both dual 12 megapixel cameras, with the primary lens being an f1.8 lens, with the second lens being a 2x zoom lens. Now for the f-stop on the zoom lens on the 8 Plus, it's f2.8, but on the iPhone 10 it's f2.4, so it'd be interesting to see how these two compare in low light. Now both lenses on the iPhone 10 are stabilized, not on the 8 Plus though. So if you really want that buttery smooth, no shaky cam footage, you're gonna have to get the 10. Well, if you think Apple ended it there, you need to
stay off the weed.
They had the courage to get rid of the headphone jack on the iPhone 7. What's next? Well, Apple dropped Touch ID, the staple of the iPhone series since like the 5S, widely praised as one of the fastest biometric scanners on a smartphone today. And they dropped it from the iPhone 10, their 10th anniversary special edition phone that's celebrating 10 years of iPhones. Now, I wouldn't be too worried about this move. I mean, they did replace it with a brand new Face ID, except it isn't new. It's been done before by Samsung, Huawei, LG. Now, yes, you Apple nerds are about to get all wild up in the comments. I know it's not the same technology. Apple patented this brand new thing using some fancy dot camera, 40,000 mapping points, whatever. Now, I wouldn't have a problem with this unlocking method if it was only a little bit faster and a lot less finicky. Anyways, the rumored fingerprint scanner embedded in the display, that did not happen this year, so Face ID will be your only way to securely interact with your new iPhone 10. Do with that as you may, but I wouldn't be too worried about the security. Apple put so much faith in this that they're actually using as a valid authentication for Apple Pay. So I guess that's a good thing if they put so much faith in it that they're trusting your money to it. Now, how much are you expected to pay for all this? Well, at launch, the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus will be available for pre-order starting on September 15th, and they will ship out on September 22nd. Now, this cost comes at $699 and $849 for the 64 and 256 gig configurations on the iPhone 8. Those are the two only memory options available. For the iPhone 8 Plus, that starts at $799 and all the way up to $949 for that same configuration. Now, this is my first issue. The 8 Plus got arguably good upgrades over the 7 Plus. I mean, there's that portrait lighting mode. I mean, that's kind of an upgrade. But essentially, the iPhone 8 is just the iPhone 7 with an A11 chip, double the storage, that's 64 gigs over 32 gigs, and wireless charging. Now you have to ask yourself, is that worth your $150? Because that's what you're paying for it. The iPhone 7 has dropped in price, so has the 7 Plus. All the iPhone SKUs have moved down the price list. So you can pick up an iPhone 7 for $150 less than you can pick up an iPhone 8. And if you don't have an iPhone 7 or an iPhone 8, I would go for the 7, to be honest. Now, what about the big dog? The iPhone 10, the special edition one. Well, you're gonna have to wait a bit longer for that one. That one comes out on October 27, launching on November the 3rd. So pre-orders go up on the 27th. You can buy it in stores on the 3rd. That's if you can even get your hands on it. Yes, and the price.
Too damn high.
At a base price of $999, know what? Screw it. That's $1,000 US for the 64 gig model and $1,149 for the 256 gig model. I don't know, people. It feels forced. This feels like what happened with the Note 8 versus the S8 Plus. I'd say if you have a 7 or a 7 Plus, there's no need, and you have no need for the whole portrait mode or portrait lighting mode or a zoom lens, then you can skip this upgrade. You can live with those thicker bezels for a bit longer, and Apple will bring OLED to the mainstream for the rest of their Apple devices maybe next year. Then if you just want to go to the 8 or the 8 Plus from an older Apple device and you have no need for these things, I'd say still get the 7 or the 7 Plus. It seems like a much better use of your money. Now, if you don't want the 7 and the 7 Plus, if those aren't good enough for you, then it's very likely you'll want the iPhone 10, because X10, I get so confused sometimes. Anyways, people, if you want the iPhone 10, you just have to ask yourself, is it worth the money? At $1,000, I can't really recommend this product to anybody. I mean, I personally would go for the 6S. It has all the latest Apple technologies in terms of features. So it's got 3D touch and it's still got a headphone jack. Not many people can argue with that, and that's what I'm saying. Anyway, people, this has been your boy Venom. I'm sorry for the long rant. I just wanted to get this thing out. I wanted to make my point known on these two phones. I feel like everybody's putting their 2 cents. I just want my voice to be heard. And your voice can be heard too down in the comment section. So feel free to browse the channel, like, subscribe, share the video for any of your friends who might be thinking about pulling the trigger on an upgrade. Again, this has been your boy Venom, and I'm out.